Hi, welcome to Positively Sparking, a podcast on internet marketing, online productivity and business. Today I'm with Siobhan and Eric from Zenkit, a new productivity app that promises to be the platform we've always wanted for our ideas, projects and business. So welcome to the podcast, Siobhan and Eric.
Hiya.
Hi.
So this is the first time we've had two guests at the same time on the podcast, so this should be a lot of fun. Double the ideas and double the tips, hopefully.
Hopefully we don't interrupt each other too much.
I'm sure you'll be very polite and courteous. So I know a little bit about you guys. We just said hello there before we started recording. But for everybody who doesn't know who you are and what you do, just tell us about yourself.
I'm Siobhan. I'm from Hong Kong and landed in Germany completely by accident. I now do what is ostensibly marketing for our for our app Zenkit. But, being a small company, we wear a lot of hats and we all do a little bit of everything. So marketing is not my only job.
I'm Eric. I'm from the States. I ended up in Germany by accident as well, but, that's how it goes. I do most of the press outreach here at Zenkit. We're a small team. So
great stuff. So did everybody at Zenkit land in Germany by accident? Or is that just a coincidence with you two?
I think it's just us. I think we're the only non-Germans.
Yeah, we're the only non-Germans.
Great stuff. So you were saying there that, you're a new productivity app and everybody has lots of different roles. I can imagine that's the case in most startups. So do you have very busy days, or is it getting better as you grow?
I'd say it gets busier as we grow, and the number of different tasks that we have to do gets more and more as we grow. So, I'm here to do marketing, and I do a little bit of that. But actually, my favorite task at the moment is customer service because, the two of us being the only native English speakers on the team, we're in charge of communicating to our customers. So
I think it's good. I think it's fun. It's late nights when you deal with the US customers, but keeps us busy for sure.
You just said there, you two are the only native English speakers, so I can imagine there's lots of responsibility on you both there to respond and be present. And Eric, I do see you online quite late at night, sometimes posting in the Facebook group and everything else. There are lots of productivity apps out there, so why make another? Why did Zenkit come into being?
Well, with Zenkit, we're not aiming to just be another productivity app. I mean, personal and workplace productivity is definitely a very important use case for Zenkit, but we're actually aiming to become somewhat more like a business operating system or like a constant companion that you can use in your private life and to run your entire company with. And we're using productivity and project management as an entry market to sort of gradually introduce our own strength, which is linking various company data that are previously spread over different systems. So like development, sales, and support traditionally are all in separate systems or silos, but they're very deeply connected in real life. Like bug
tracking.
Bug tracking is very important for development and also obviously for support, and it may affect a sales team. And
we do this all day.
Yeah, in real life, it's important for all of these separate departments to connect over these things. But online or within a company, usually the systems used to manage those different areas are not well connected, or they find it hard to talk to each other. So with Zenkit, we're sort of aiming to connect everything.
Wow, what a big and ambitious aim to connect everything. And I love the team that you two are, talking away there and jumping in and helping each other out.
Lots of practice.
So
sit right next to each other, so.
There you go. You must know each other well.
Yeah.
So how do you go about creating an app like that from a concept to a working application? With that big, bold, ambitious aim to connect everything, And to even, you mentioned there, Siobhan, to even connect people's personal life with their business life, which traditionally most of us try to keep separate for all kinds of reasons. How do you start developing that kind of app?
Well, Zenkit originally was supposed to be an app building app. So we were going to allow people to build apps without any technical knowledge, right?
Sort of the apps that they needed in their personal or business life to organize it better.
And so we were building the back end over years. We've been about 2 years in development now. And Martin, the founder here, realized that it was something that he wasn't using every day. I mean, it was a cool app, and it was really fast, and you could do a lot of things with it, but it's not something that you would use every day. And so he kind of started thinking about what is something that could actually be part of your life every day and really help. And we were using productivity apps too. So we were using like Trello and all those. And there's limitations to those. Once your teams start getting bigger or your projects start expanding, you end up hitting a wall, and then you got to bring in other tools, and then they don't talk to each other. And so that was kind of the idea. And we had the back end built already. So so the user interface is easy to build.
You know, Eric, my next question was going to be, did anything change in that dev from original concept? But pretty much everything changed.
Everything, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the only thing that remains from the original app builder was the deep technology that was required to build such a flexible system as Zenkit. So that legacy has really helped us a lot. All we have to do now is make it look pretty.
Perhaps the most important element.
Yeah, that's why we need you guys' feedback, right?
Absolutely. So when you go through such a change like that, and you're not only changing the app, but the target market and everything that you're trying to progress towards, how do you begin that process? How do you walk in one day and say, do you know what? We're actually going to stop creating this particular application, even though we've done all this work, and instead we're going to start creating this new productivity-led app because we want to create something that people use every day. Were you two present when that particular chat happened?
We were present at the company, but we hadn't been moved over to Zenkit yet. So when Martin made the decision, they were still in development. We hadn't seen too much of the original idea. And then when they pivoted, or when he switched the direction, that's when he brought us over, and he had a lot of knowledge right off the bat because he had been thinking about it for a lot longer than us. And so he brought that with him and shared it with us. So,
I think what really helped with that, his new idea of what Zenkit should be, or what has now become, really kind of resonated with all of us on the team, and we really understood where he wanted to go with it. And so making the switch wasn't too tough at all.
Brilliant. So everybody on the team understood where Martin was coming from and perhaps shared the same passion to build something that would be used every day in that kind of context.
Right. When we saw the initial app when it first launched, and we looked at it, we understood exactly what he wanted. Yeah, it's great.
We use it every day.
We use it every day.
Well, that's good. You guys have to use it, don't you? If you don't use it, it's tough to help other people when they're using it too. But it sounds like you're using it because you think it's a great app and something that you would use whether you were working there or not.
Yeah, we had to use Zenkit to build Zenkit, so.
Very meta.
So when did you first go to market?
We sort of officially-ish launched into private beta at the Bits and Pretzels conference in Munich last year, around the end of October. I say private beta because even though we were sort of launching, people still had to request an invite, and we'd actually email them and give them a code to log in. We didn't have like a fancy onboarding system or anything. We did it very old school.
I don't know if we've actually officially launched yet.
Yeah, we're still sort of flying under the radar, but not really. And we chose to launch there because we were interested in meeting other like-minded startup types. There's a lot of startups who come to this conference. And we were basically just looking for people to put on the platform, to put it through the ringer, to test it and give us feedback. So it wasn't a big hurrah launch. It was kind of just like, hey, we exist. Give us your feedback.
And so that was where you first launched it, and you were saying that you haven't really officially come out and gone to kind of conquer the world, I guess. So from there, Eric, I remember you popping up in Joe's Facebook group probably a month or so ago. Is that right?
That group is great. I don't know if, it's. I looked in there. I just kind of peeked in there a couple of times, and everybody's really engaged. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. These are my people.
And did you go and sign up with any other groups as well?
We had signed up, or I had signed up with a bunch of beta groups at the beginning just to try and get users to get us some feedback. But productivity, not really. Or groups like Joe's, they're hard to come by.
I think it's probably the first of its kind, as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of them, but there's no engagement in there, so there's no point.
She's doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's super nice.
She is. So one thing that you've really focused on your website and in a lot of the kind of promotional points that you use is comparing yourself against Trello. So tell me about why that is what you feel a great approach to take.
We took that approach mostly because it's a familiar starting point. Users who are familiar with Trello will kind of start to understand where Zenkit is. And in terms of marketing, it's a big buzzword that we can use in our favor because a lot of the things that Trello users were looking for are the kinds of things that we do. And while Trello has a lot of great things that we don't do yet, we offer some of the changes that their users were looking for.
Yeah, it's an easy story to tell with Trello because anyone that's used Trello for a long time has more than likely ended up hitting a wall, right?
Like we did.
Where it just doesn't work, and then you end up using other tools to kind of fill in the gaps. And with Zenkit, you're not actually going to do that. You can just continue on past the Kanban board into other systems.
Got you. So it's that enhanced functionality which you offer that you feel will kind of really tick a box in a Trello user's head. They'll think, I've been trying to do that. Let me give this a go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other well-known apps out there that perhaps in the future you'll kind of point at as well and say, hey, we can do this better than so-and-so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can you think of any big productivity or project management app that's popular nowadays? And we're gonna go for them.
You
There
know
we
the
go.
tools, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm thinking it's Lookout, Asana, and I use one called Todoist, for example.
Yeah, Todoist is a great app.
Yeah,
But,
I like it.
Or Wunderlist.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all great apps, but they're the singularity in them is kind of limiting, I guess.
Yeah. And so so explain that word singularity, Eric. That's an interesting phrase to use. What do you mean by that?
If you're Trello, you're a Kanban board, and that's what you're going to be. Or if you look at, did you mention Asana?
Yes.
So Asana's adding features now, so they're switching. They're not only
Lists, but also Kanban.
lists and Kanban, right?
Yeah.
And that's always going to be an addition to that single core idea.
Yeah. So like with Asana, they started out as this really cool list, basically, that you can organize your teams on. And they've just recently added the Kanban functionality. But the key difference between Zenkit and Asana in this case is that with Asana, you can either be a list or you can have it be a Kanban board. But once you've made that decision, you're stuck there. And what's cool about Zenkit is that you can switch from your list to your Kanban board to your spreadsheet to your mind map to whatever tool you need at the time using the same data. So
very good. A different view for every day of the week.
Yeah, or every task, or every project, or whatever.
Very good. So is a key kind of promise of Zenkit that flexibility?
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the major advantage, I think. Yeah.
Great, superb. So we've already spoken a bit about how you've promoted Zenkit so far. When will you be ready for that point where you do want to take on the world and all those other productivity tools are in danger?
That's a good question.
We have an iOS app that's going to be coming out soon, and I think that's probably going to trigger quite a bit. I don't know.
Hopefully. I mean, technically we're still in beta, and I'm not sure if any of us know when that'll end.
We've gotten some press, though. We were in Lifehacker already, and the Next Web.
Hacker News?
Hacker News picked us up, and Product
Hunt as well. That was crazy. That was an insane day.
So that really tells you that there's a strong desire for what you offer. I always find that, I'm a marketing person myself, as you probably know, and if there's excitement before you've really pushed the marketing out there, it's always a great sign.
Yeah. Well, we hope so, at least.
Yeah, when we got hunted on Product Hunt, I think that was the first time when we were like, oh, wow, we have something here. Everybody's excited, so.
Great stuff. So let's kind of go forwards 12 months from now. And you both sat in this office, which is surrounded by trams going past, you were saying before, in Germany. Yeah. Where do you want to be?
I think profitable, mobile, and with a large enough user base that Zenkit growth is fueled by word of mouth more than press.
We want people to love us, Phil.
Yeah, you want to be loved.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely world domination is not out of the picture. Maybe it's a bit further in the future than in 12 months, but
yeah, I mean,
we're aiming high.
If you look at the Trello user base, they're huge fans, and that's the secret to Trello's growth is they had such great fans that wanted to work with the app and wanted to build new things for the app, and we want that, Phil.
Yeah, you want the same. I understand. So how many users is that point at which you begin to gain lots of new customers by referral? Have you got a figure that you believe would be that tipping point?
I don't know. Loaded question. I think after the first 100,000 users, it's going to go pretty fast.
But we're aiming for that earlier than in 12 months' time, I think.
Yeah, I think probably middle of this year, it's probably going to be a tipping point for us.
Let's hook up again in a year's time on the podcast, and we can look back at what happened. It'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll come visit you.
We'll call you from San Francisco or wherever it is that we've landed, maybe London.
Well, that wouldn't be too far away. You can fly over from London in less than an hour. There you go.
There we go. Easy.
Tell us a little bit about everything that you've learned from Zenkit and these great reviews you've had recently. What do you believe is the future of productivity apps? And maybe even extend beyond that. You've already told me that this is more, Phil, than a productivity app. So tell us about how you see Zenkit shaping the future.
It's a good question. I think maybe quoting or paraphrasing Martin, our CEO, would probably help there. Part of how he came up with Zenkit was actually trying to find the answer to the question, what would technology look like, not in 5 to 10 years, but in 100 or 200 years. And it seems really silly to think about that now, but it really allowed him to get out of the near future loop of, what will things look like in 5 to 10 years? And, what he sees, or rather what he imagines, is a friendly system that we can trust all of our knowledge to, sort of an underlying force like water or electricity that we don't have to worry about, that's just there. And I mean, we already all bring our phones along with us, and they're our constant companion. Now all we need to do is make the leap to trusting our technology to help us achieve our goals. And you can already see this trend happening with innovations like Google Goals, which uses machine learning to schedule selected goals into your calendar. And, with Zenkit, we hope it'll be able to integrate seamlessly into that system, except instead of Google Goals going into your calendar, it's your thoughts going into the cloud. I don't know. Very far-fetched.
We'll have to work on that marketing.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well, two great messages there, like water and electricity. That's a big statement. And I think you're right mentioning Google Goals and saying this is where we are heading. We're heading into an age of, artificial intelligence. That's where we're going to. And that being a real artificial intelligence, that second word intelligence is really the one which is the big part of that growth. So I think those are really far-reaching looking aims, but it's helped you make this app which can do things in a different way to most of its competitors. So well-founded. So let's just go back to that word integration. And one of the key things for any new app is its ability to integrate seamlessly with everything that we're already using, whether that's, you mentioned Google Goals, but it could be Gmail or Apple Mail or our calendars, our contacts, the other things that we use. I'm quite obsessed with Evernote. So anything I use has to be integrated with Evernote. How big a part of developing Zenkit has integration been?
The idea has been there right from the get-go. As you said, an app that doesn't integrate into the other ones is not one that people will want to use. We are planning to release our API so that these apps can integrate. And the idea is once they're integrated, once you're getting information from all of these different apps into Zenkit, you'll be able to work with that data in a completely new way and perhaps gain even more insight into your life or your business. So integration definitely plays a major, major role. We just haven't yet released it.
Yeah, we're hoping that all the apps are funneling into Zenkit, right? And Zenkit is basically your dashboard for your data, right? So everything that you need is there. So with the API, we're working on Zapier? Zapier, right?
Yeah, at the moment, our API connects just to Trello and to Zapier. Zapier is sort of our stopgap.
Sure.
Tool.
Yeah. Because that will integrate with everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So until we've released the full-blown thing, Zapier is helping us to get that integration started.
Great. Superb. So what about any advice you would give to anyone who's listening to the podcast looking to develop their own app to take on Zenkit in 2 years?
Start planning it with Zenkit? We're kidding, but not really. When I saw this question, I actually spoke to our lead developer, Jesse, about it. So I hope you don't mind if I quote him directly here. He said, "The key is being passionate about your idea. Developing is especially fun and effective if you have a goal that's worth leaving everything else aside for." And I think he in particular exemplifies that perfectly. He's here all the time. But he really loves it. Like you go hang out with him on the weekend and the computer's there and he has an idea and he'll start working on it.
Or he fixes a bug on the train on the way to work. So
yeah.
Wow. There we go. I like Jesse already.
Yeah.
So do we.
I think that word is used there, passion, is actually the secret to business. Maybe it's even the secret to life. If we do things that we're passionate about, we kind of get extra energy. It flows. It's not like we're getting up every day and forcing ourselves to do something, where our passion makes us love what we're doing, even if we're working at weekends and fixing bugs on the train on the way into work, like Jesse's doing so. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us where we can find you online and include here Zenkit, the app, but also yourselves.
You can find us at Zenkit.com. You can reach me basically everywhere. Just look for my name. But I'm usually around Twitter, or you can go to Joe's Facebook group and look me up there.
Yep. Our Zenkit Twitter and Facebook handle is just Zenkit HQ. Apparently, there are other users who have already taken Zenkit. Unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That happens.
It does. What do they do? Have you had a look to see what they
One of
offer?
them is a guy, the
Inactive.
Twitter, completely inactive. I think he tweeted maybe 5 times back in 2011. So we have no idea who he is or how to contact him. So
If he hears this, reach out to us.
Just what I was going to say, Eric. If he's listening to this, get in touch. And any final message you want to give to everybody?
Try Zenkit and let us know what you think. We're still working really hard to make it the best, and feedback is what we need. So
exactly, we will respond on Twitter or Facebook 24/7.
Great stuff. It's been a lot of fun having you both on the podcast, hearing all about Zenkit and why passion is the secret to business and life, and all kinds of other things, even the fact that trams go past your office so frequently. Thank you very much for a great podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Phil.
My name is Phil Byrne, and I'd like to thank you so much for listening today. I hope you got something really good to take away from this week's episode for you or your business. And you know what? I'd like to give you something more. In fact, I'd like to give you a whole free web marketing pack full of all my latest and best ideas on how you can take your business forward positively online. Download your pack at positivesparks.co.uk/pack. And most of all, guys, look forward to seeing you again next week.